Hi everybody, I'm Jennifer Blevins-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today's topic is about preparing for next year. And what I mean by that is we are drawing close to the end of one calendar year and rapidly approaching the next calendar year. There are definitely things that need to be considered before the first of the year, and we're going to review those today. The first thing is making sure that your staff, especially the front desk and billing staff, are prepared to start questioning patients and collecting new insurances. A large percentage of people get new insurance plans after the first of the year, and they're effective January 1. You want to make sure that your staff is prepared on asking the right questions, and I encourage you to get them to not just ask yes and no questions, but open answer questions, like asking the patients when they call to schedule and they're already established if we are still billing United Healthcare for you. If you ask them that, they're not really paying attention and they'll probably say yes or no without thinking. But if your staff asks, what insurance should we be billing for you at that visit? They go, oh, I need to check, or that's right, I have new insurance, and it just prompts a little bit more thinking on their end. Yes and no questions can get you in a lot of trouble up front, and I have a whole video about training your front desk on how to ask the right questions, so I encourage you to watch that in this topic. The next thing is, do you need patients to update any paperwork you have on file, such as financial policies, HIPAA authorizations, and HIPAA acknowledgements? Make sure you're checking with your local and federal requirements when it comes to these forms and how often they need to be renewed by your patients. If they are due to be renewed, the first of the year is the best way to start fresh and make sure that you're getting through all the patients that are either established or returning to your office and ensuring that your staff is well prepared and ready to give them and update that paperwork. The third thing are deductibles, and I've done a whole video specifically about preparing for deductible season, but this is something that is huge going into the first of the year because majority of people with their new insurance plans have policies that also renew the first of the year if they continue on the same plan, and that means that most of the money that will be owed to you for the first quarter or quarter and a half of the year will be coming from patients and not insurances. You want to make sure your billing staff and your front office staff is prepared on how to have those financial cost share conversations with your patients at the time of service. The end of the year is a perfect time to evaluate your revenue cycle reports, and I have a video about that as well. But is it time to increase your fee schedules? Do you need to increase your overall billing to the insurances after reviewing contracts and what they've been paying? And also, is it time to increase maybe your self-pay or cash fee schedules? You definitely need to take into consideration inflation that's been going on, the cost of goods, the cost of your staff and their wages, and everything it takes to offer these services to these patients. Make sure you evaluate that on at least an annual basis, because you're only shorting yourself if you don't. And if you need to increase it, first of the year is the best way to kick that off. Put a notice out at least a few weeks ahead of time to your patients to let them know that you will have fee increases as of first of the year, and also for you to remember and track when you did those fee increases. The other thing is supply ordering. A lot of goods go up in cost after the first of the year, and if you buy any specialty products like allergy serums or braces and casting supplies or anything like that, you might want to check with your vendors to find out if they are planning on a price increase after the first of the year. A lot of vendors are really good at notifying you ahead of time with a letter, but maybe you don't see it, you don't remember, or you didn't get it because they didn't send one. So it's always good to plan ahead, and if there are supplies that you want to order ahead of time that are going to increase, it's probably a good idea to put in that last minute 2 weeks, a week before the end of the year order so that you can pay the lower price, at least going into deductible season when funds are going to be really tight. My sixth thing on my list are policy changes. And that's not just policies for your patients on things that you might be wanting to implement in your office, but also policies within your office for your employees. Are there things that need to be done differently? First of the year, again, is a great way to start off a fresh year and be able to track those changes. It also gives you time to be able to make sure that the changes you're wanting to implement is a good idea. So if you start planning at least the last quarter of every year and looking at things that you want to change or implement starting the first of the next year, it's always a good idea. Seventh thing, workflow changes. It goes with the policy changes. Are there things that just need to be tweaked a little bit that hasn't been a huge deal, but it's definitely something that needs to be done? Use the first of the year as a time to really start off and make things work a little bit more efficiently. Bring in your team members, talk to them, get their ideas, their suggestions, because maybe there are things that need to be changed or tweaked that you're not even aware of because your staff just kind of deals with it and they haven't shared with you that they would like to see things done a different way. It's always good to have an end of the year meeting about at least a month before the first of the year to talk about all this stuff and hopefully get their input so that you can start working towards those implementation changes. Schedule changes. Do you need to change how often your clinic is open or closed? Do you need to change how your employees are staffed and scheduled? Again, first of the year, it's always good because then it's easy to track, it's easy to remember, and if you get in a really good habit as a business owner at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter of the year of thinking about all of these things and reviewing all of these things with your staff, your managers, and anybody else who might have some very valuable input, it's only going to help you, and then you have a set deadline of when it's going to launch so that you can make sure that everything you need to get done gets done with that deadline, and then it's easy, like I said, to track and to remember when things were implemented. The last thing I want to talk about are compliance requirement changes. This could be, a Medicare requirement, a HIPAA requirement, OSHA requirements. The first of the year often is a good time for them to implement and require changes. And so you want to make sure that you're staying on top of all of that news and going to be compliant when it is necessary so that you can prepare and be ready to go as soon as that date approaches. And it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. And so you just want to make sure that you're staying abreast of everything, or at least you have someone dedicated in your office that you trust that will stay on top of everything and be in touch and be able to communicate with you on what needs to be changed, when it needs to be changed, and how you're going to do it. I think I've covered all of the major parts in the business that the first of the year is a good time to evaluate and implement new things. But if I missed anything or you think of something that has been beneficial to you that maybe I wouldn't think about, please leave that in the comments below and help your colleagues. If you have questions on how to implement new things or what I'm talking about and you want more detail, please leave that in the comments below as well. I hope that you guys have a wonderful holiday season. We're rapidly approaching with Christmas Eve a week from today, and I'm so excited. This last week before Christmas is always so magical, and I hope you guys feel that too. Hit the thumbs up if you feel this was especially helpful for you today. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I really appreciate the support. Thank you, you guys. Have a good one.